What do you use your mic for, can I ask?
It's for my YouTube channel.
Oh, cool.
I've been covering Tesla's self-driving feature for a long time.
Whoa.
One of the things that I do that the other self-driving YouTubers don't do is customer involvement, like having Uber and Lyft.
Oh, really?
So it became a big favorite.
Oh, cool.
I like to see if the technology can do the job.
Yeah, have you seen those cars? I think the company is like Waymo or something. Just like in San Francisco, the self-driving ones that are going to be probably coming out to SoCal pretty soon.
I've seen them, Waymo specifically out of Arizona, like the Phoenix and Tucson area. I think they really expanded the availability of like how far I can drive. I think in San Francisco, I could be wrong, I need to know more about this. I should, given how much I know about Tesla self-driving, that it's Cruise. I'm pretty sure.
That's the name of the car?
The company.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I think they're owned by GM, which is kind of, or maybe I'm just conflating Chevy Cruise with Cruise technology. Because Ford was calling theirs Blue Cruise, which is kind of funny. Reminds me of Blue's Clues.
Yeah.
And Waymo has their ordeal, I think, out of Vegas and Arizona. There's one called Zoosk somewhere. It's the weirdest one to say. Z-O-O-S-K, Zoosk. But I would love to actually experience those technologies and be able to kind of compare.
Yeah, the last time I was in San Francisco, I couldn't tell. I saw a bunch of Waymos that were with nobody in them. And then I saw some with people in the driver's seat, and I couldn't tell if they were letting it drive itself or not.
They were probably like me in that they were like a safety driver, like there just in case it did something weird so they could take over.
Oh, like while it was testing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or even if, because I don't know which company, but I know they also have remote capability where you have somebody who can control the vehicle, you know, like a video game. If it gets stuck, you know, they can basically pilot it to like the side or get it out of the street. Because there was an issue a while ago where I think a bunch of Cruise vehicles kind of, well, had a panic attack, to say loosely. They just all stopped and were blocking traffic.
Oh my gosh.
And it was like not a danger, but a massive inconvenience to so many people. I mean, self-driving's hard. It is not an easy thing to figure out, especially when you're trying to tackle it the way Tesla is without the extra sensors like the LiDAR and radar and everything. We just use cameras in our cars. It's like us, you know, with eyes and a brain.
Yeah.
And it's expected to, basically wherever it is, to understand the rules of the road, to react to stimuli, and to execute safely.
Have you gotten Tesla to like sponsor you for it? Like, do you work for them?
No, I wish. I tried to years ago. I was a temp for them for a while. But I'm just one of over 500,000 owners that have the full self-driving that like to kind of crowdsource the data, you know, help them. Because they gather all this information from us, and then it goes into updates, and it makes the system better in time. Like we're on the version 11 software now, which has gotten very good. I'm actually several updates behind. The OG YouTubers, the ones that have been doing it for a long time, as well as the employees, are on 11.4.2, as well as a lot of other people too. Tesla kind of does this like staggered rollout where, like, if you imagine 500,000 people, it just starts to spread. Yes, exactly. So if there is like a bug that they capture, they can stop the rollout, fix it, and then start again.
You'd think Apple would do that.
Yeah.
Or if they already do, they're not doing it well.
Like with the phones, to stop
Yeah.
It's a good point, yeah. Yeah, when you're really good at software, you know, you can capture those things and be like, oh, hang on, hold up, we found this bug. Let's fix that before we go wide to everybody else. Yeah, I'm eager to get it. I mean, I've been on the 11.3.6 build for a while, and it's been great. It's about 60% capable in the sense that, you know, 60% of trips don't require anything from me. Which is pretty good. That's actually really good considering that it's totally random with me. I mean, whoever I'm picking up, it could be going anywhere. So there's no like staying on an easy route or kind of going the easy way.
Yeah.
It's truly like, all right, next customer could be going to LA or Temecula or down to the border.
And you felt fine like on freeways?
Oh yeah, freeway is actually probably the easiest because there's not a whole lot that really happens. You know, you just kind of cruise.
And then how do you tell it to change lanes? Like if you just wanted to, like, let's say, you know, you want to go around somebody who's like going slow.
If I wanted to give input, I just hit the turn stock.
And then it does it when it
Yeah. So
ways to do it.
those are the 2 points that I can give input without taking over. Is I can give it throttle to help it like push. If it gets a little slow, like I can, like, that's me kicking it there a little bit. But if I touch
otherwise it goes on its own?
Yeah, I haven't touched the pedal since you got in.
Wow, I didn't know that.
But I can choose to, like right now I will. That's me, kind of kicking it. And that can be helpful if I foresee a potential problem. That's the car reacting.
Oh, wow.
And keeping its distance.
Whoa, that's super impressive.
But I can choose to hit the signal if we're kind of like stuck in a lane where, you know, it's not really moving. Because you have different modes too. I can actually select between assertive mode, average mode, or more chill mode. And those basically gauge its aggressiveness with lane changes, like prioritizing, you know, getting around cars and finding openings versus kind of just chilling out, literally. Hanging back.
Like taking its time.
Yeah. And then I think there's an extra option, where I can hit minimal lane change, which is nice because in the past, sometimes it would kind of be too eager to go around people and then like miss a turn. Like say we had to make this right turn and we're in the wrong lane. It's like, no, you could have done it. But it's cool to see how it changes.
But you could override, like let's say you wanted to make a last minute turn, can you
Oh yeah,
hit the
totally.
steering wheel?
Yeah, I can grab the wheel, hit the brake, like that's how quick. I just did that. Just to show you how quickly I can grab it.
Does it turn itself off or does it just
I disengaged it by hitting the brake pedal, just like cruise control. So like when I hit the brake, that little chime you heard where I went doo-doo, that was it letting it know, or letting me know rather that I'm taking over.
Got it.
If I take over just by the wheel, it'll actually stay in adaptive cruise. So now it's still doing cruise control, but I'm steering. Wow. And then if I tap the brake, now I'm fully in control. It's kind of a giveaway with whether or not this little line is gray and the steering wheel up here if it's gray, because when it's blue, that's how you can tell I'm in self-driving. Pretty seamless, yeah. If you're ever in a weird situation, I mean, boom, you got it. That's why it's emphasized so greatly that Tesla owners need to be paying attention, because there is no scenario, if you're paying attention, where you wouldn't have been able to prevent something.
Yeah.
But people who get complacent or maybe overtrust it, you know, I've seen all kinds of posts that just make me facepalm, whether they're, you know, eating or reading a book.
It's not necessarily the car's fault.
Yeah, no. Because we all take responsibility. Like, in a legal sense, we are assuming all responsibility for what the car does. This is a driver assistance feature. It's not legally a click it and forget it. You know, the car takes the heat.
Yeah, the only thing I think about is, like, you know how, like, with computers, there's, like, a tech gap between us and, let's say, like, our, like, a grandparents' generation.
Sure.
Where it's, like, you know, like, a lot for them to, like, learn all at once. I feel that way about like maybe electric cars, like, you know, them having to learn. I mean, I guess anybody, you know, anybody who's like not quick about like picking up computer things or like little like remembering like brakes and buttons to like gain control again. That's super interesting.
Yeah, and you know, both to your credit there, as well as a bit of ease of mind, is that it seems a lot more complicated from the outside. But after a day like using the car, a lot of those concerns melt away. Because it is really, at least from Tesla's standpoint, they're very much about keeping things simple. So you notice it's just a screen and driving. You know, you don't have a bunch of buttons and gadgets and everything everywhere. As far as like using the vehicle goes compared to using another vehicle, it's very similar. The strangest thing is probably the regen braking. It's like when you take your foot off the throttle, it just immediately starts slowing down from the electric motors. And that can feel a little strange. But a day or two and you pretty much get used to it. Now, as far as getting used to autonomy and stuff, yeah, that's completely at the pace of the individual. You know, like some people, like myself, being a major tech geek, a gamer, like I'm in. But, you know, the average person that isn't as tech savvy, yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a confusing endeavor at first.
Did you get this car to try self-driving, or did you like have a Tesla before, or like electric before?
So I got the Tesla actually because I saw that it was possible to make so much income with the Uber and Lyft thing and be able to afford this as a regular person. Because it was back in 2019 when I started messing around with Uber and Lyft after the military and doing some odd jobs and stuff, and I like driving, so I was like, why don't I try this Uber and Lyft gig? And I rented a Kia Soul through Uber. because there you're able to actually like keep a vehicle with you if you don't have a vehicle that qualifies. And the money was ridiculous, except the gas expense was about half of the earnings. So I kept thinking, all right, if there's a way I could, you know, increase the capital, reduce the maintenance and expense, and that'd probably be smart. I knew about Tesla, but they were always a bit out of reach for me, you know, a little bit too expensive to get, you know, $45,000-$50,000 car. But then when I started running the numbers, I was like, oh my God, it'd be so easy to afford a Model 3 with Uber and Lyft if I can just get approved for the loan.
That is wild.
Yeah. I mean, I'm saving around $1,500 to $2,000 every month in gas alone.
Wow.
And the car payment's $600.
Oh my God.
So like I could pay for several Teslas
Your
just
car
on the
payment
gas
is
savings.
Not much more than my Kia that's a hybrid.
Exactly. A lot of people don't realize that. Like, I got this car brand new out the door for $42,000
Oh my God.
with no down payment. All I had to do was pay for the delivery and tax, which was about $3,800 when I took delivery. But yeah, these are a lot more attainable than most people think. A lot of people still think that even this car is like $80,000-$100,000 car. I'm like, no, this is, especially now, the Model 3 and Y, I don't know if the 3 actually gets the new tax credit. I think it might get part of it. But the SUV that my wife drives, like, we got that for $50,000.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's a fun world to be in.
Wait,
and then
she's in a Tesla SUV?
Yeah, Tesla Model Y.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we went from having like a beat up old Nissan, a Mini Cooper, and an old Chevy truck to 2 Teslas. We're like, what just happened? How did this happen?
That's cool that you spent the time to crunch the numbers.
Yeah, and I was really surprised that those numbers ended up being legit. It's like, because usually you're like, that's too good to be true. No way.
Yeah.
But no, it was real.
Wow, that's awesome.
Man, and even going through downtown, this thing is kicking butt. Except the Tesla nav is stopping here, so I'll just delete it and tell it not to turn there. Now we're kind of free driving here. He's like, I don't have a destination. Where are we going? Call this an unguided adventure. No, aside from my demonstrations of taking over, it did the whole trip. So.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't have noticed if we didn't say anything about it.
Well, and for most people, I typically just kind of keep my hand on the wheel because not everybody's talkative, you know. And I don't want to.
I'm also not looking, like, I wouldn't be looking at your hands on the wheel.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't even notice. But
it blends in.
Yeah, but then I noticed after we were talking about it, I noticed the steering wheel doing itself, but I did not notice I would have not known the gas and the brake.
Yeah, that's fair. Yep.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I'll go ahead and take over since we're at the little final
Well, you've convinced
point.
me. I'm like, let Waymo take over.
Right. I mean, it'll equal a lot of safer trips in the future, I think, when you get all these crazy humans out of the driver's seat. It'll also make things a lot cheaper. But alrighty.
Alrighty, well, enjoy.
Thank
you
you
so much.
And getting out's kind of funny. Just hold
right
that.
here.
Yeah, you got it. Perfect.
Thank you.
That's a good sign that the first customer of the night was a really fun reaction. Heck yeah. And we are downtown, so hopefully we get some other good ones. I definitely need to get this content out for everybody. It's been tough. And I also need 11.4. Let's go. All right, on to the next one.